Welcome, my friends. This is your host, ID Jester. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. We are back in Fantasy Grounds helping out DMs, trying to get things ready for their campaigns for their players, or maybe your adventure, or whatever you're working on. Trying to show you guys how to manipulate and add things to Fantasy Grounds, how to manipulate it the best way possible. In this episode, we're going to talk about encounters, how to set up encounters using monsters, and also how to quick link everything on your maps and how to prepare ahead of time for your players with your encounters so that when the game session happens, it goes quick and easy and fun and enjoyable for everyone, and you can concentrate on role playing and letting these players know what's going on. So we're going to be doing that in this episode. Let's get right to it here. Thanks for joining me. We're going to be using this Goblin Swamp Map because I think I like this map a lot, actually. So we're going to use it. And I decided what we're going to do is we're going to make this a bandit camp. We're going to make this a bandit camp, and we are going to use it, and we're going to set it up, and we're actually going to use our own bandits because I decided this would be a perfect map to have a whole bunch of enemies that are kind of confined in a little area. Give these spellcasters or people that with multiple attacks some good way to attack, but I don't want to give them full scale bandits. So we're going to go ahead and edit some bandits. We're going to edit them, add them to our encounters, quick link them to the map, and have everything ready to go. So let's get to it. Okay. So we're actually going to go in and bandits. So I've actually got a copy of Bandits already. If you're not sure how to do that, you're just going to just take this. Actually, what we'll do is we'll remove my copy, my current copy. And all you have to do is take Bandits and just drag it somewhere else on the screen and just let it go. Boom, done, right? And when I do a search for Bandits again, you will see we actually have Bandits now. And this will be our copy. We actually have the Monster Manual copy. You don't want to mess with this. So our copy of Bandits, we're going to click on the link button and we're going to edit it. So armor class, we're going to give these guys a dexterity pretty crappy of 10. Yeah, average. We'll give them average, which means their armor class goes down 1 because they don't get the bonus for dexterity. We're also going to give them a 9 constitution, so they're going to lose some hit points as well. I'm just going to go ahead and give these guys 7 hit points. With the good hit by a first level character, should kill them. So we're going to put out probably about 6 or 8 of these guys, right? So just to separate these from our normal bandits, we're going to call these the Black Hand Bandits. So he's a Black Hand Bandit. So we've adjusted his stats. Probably the biggest thing we can do is adjust the amount of damage they also do. So what we're going to do is we are going to give these guys a club instead of a scimitar, or possibly a dagger instead of a scimitar, something that does a little bit less damage. And their strength currently is at 11, so it's a +0, so that's good. So we'll just give them 1d4 damage. That way they're not going to be doing a lot of damage to the group. And we're going to remove the light crossbow. So these guys just have got some clubs and some daggers. They're not going to be doing a lot of damage, right? So we're going to delete that. We're actually going to delete that as well. And now we're going to add in a action. So the best way to do this really is to find a monster. For example, we're going to take Kobold here, and we're going to go down and we're going to see what actions. He's got a dagger already in there. So what we need to do is just recreate that dagger, right? And it's a melee weapon. Then attack. You're going to be. It's important that you code it exactly the way it is in the regular. So melee weapon, attack weapon. We're going to give this just a plus. We're going to give these guys a +3 to hit, reach, 5 foot, 1 target, hit. Now this is an important one. Hit colon. And we're going to just put down 4, and we're going to do 1d4 plus 0. We don't even need to put that in there. We'll just leave it at that, like that. And piercing, i.e. arcing damage. Right, there we go. Good. Right, so now if we lock this, they should have melee weapon. You can see it'll work. If you're not sure, once you have it locked, you should be able to, boom, like that. Drag it down here. Make sure, there we go. Okay, so backhand bandit, damage, dagger, type piercing, and it gives us our total there. Perfect. Just like that. Challenge rating, they're only 1/8, which is probably a little bit less than that, but that's okay because we're gonna create a whole bunch of them in this little encampment here. There's a horde of them. We could do the same thing with clubs, but they do the same amount of damage, so you could go in and add clubs in as well, just for some variety, I guess. So under actions, we're going to go plus. We're going to call this a club. And basically, we're going to copy everything that's here. So that's Control C, as in Charlie. Control V to paste. Foot. 1 target. All right, now hit. Colon. 4. 1d4, and boom, just like that. We got a club in there. That's fine. All right. If you're not sure, just drag it over there, drop it. Attack, medium, club. Boom. +3 to hit. There we go. We can do the same thing with our. Nope, can't do it with our damage. So we've got something missing here. Oh, because I forgot to put piercing, maybe. I don't know if that's the answer. Let's see. Yeah, looks like it. So, yep, just find a monster. It's already got the attack. You can't highlight, unfortunately, you can't highlight the whole text at the same time because it wants to separate it. But you can see, not too hard. We did that in just a couple minutes. We added our bandit, right? So now what we want to do is just add our bandits to our map, right? No. So, like, if I just start adding bandits to the map, right? And I'm like, okay, we're going to have a whole bunch of bandits here. This is not what you want to do, by the way, but we're going to show you. So they're in here where they're sitting down eating. Some of them are maybe carving some fish up, or another one's over here. Maybe this is they're on the sea or on the river. This guy's tending to some nets over here. So we've got what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We'll just get rid of this guy. That's fine. So we got 2, 4, 6, 8. So 8 of them. There they are. These guys are eating, and this guy's eating as well. Maybe this guy's on the back. He's fixing his lobster traps or whatever. This guy's sitting down eating, so they'll probably get a little bit of surprise round, so that's probably fine. All right, so, party comes in, ready to go, and let's actually, oops, wrong. We're going to delete all non-friendly. So here's our party here. And so now we've got the bandits, and all we need to do is drag them, right, what? Right click, delete, visibility, rotate, release. What do I do with these guys? Right now, these are nothing. Okay, these are absolutely nothing. They're just tokens on your map. They don't go back. They don't do anything. You double click them, they don't even bring up the stat block. Okay, of the bandits. Because they're nothing really, right? They're just tokens on your map. That's all they are at this point, because you didn't set it up right. So let's show you how to properly set it up. Delete token. All right, so let's delete all these guys. Delete token, and delete token. I could have actually let's. I'm actually wanting to try something here. Bandits we have there. All right, so we're going to bring these guys up, and we're going to drag a couple back on the screen like this, right? You can actually, as a DM, unlock, and then you've got a mode here, right here, this grid looking thing, you can click on the selection mode and you can highlight, right, a whole bunch of them at the same time. I know it's probably hard to see, but they're all highlighted with just barely like a black circle around them. Now if I go to delete, it should delete all of them. Oh, nope. Delete all. There we go. Guess we could have just done that to begin with. So there you go. So there's, I didn't show you the actual selection to option when you're on maps as well. You can select the party, you can select all the NPCs, whatever you want, whatever you want to do, right? All right, so we've created a brand new monster, but before we do this, we actually want to go in, and I don't want the bee, right? The bees are kind of, right? Bandit. So let's find a bandit here. We've got a bunch of tokens we've added into the game, right? But I just want to, maybe I just want to find one that's already in the game. Let's see what we got here. Yeah. Dungeon Master, Monster Manual. Let's go into Monster Manual. Oh, Bandit Captain's there. We'll just use the Bandit Captain as our token, right? So first thing we want to do is release our thing. Just drag it over. There we are. There we go. And we'll find a different token for our special captain, right? So again, Bandit Captain, we're just going to drag his token over there, go back into Bandit. Bandit Captain, the one that not linked to any source, right? And we just want to bring that up. Now we can change the Bandit Captain, unlock it, change out his token. We'll find our Bandit Captain. This one looks like a good one. He looks like a super good bandit there. Actually, he does look like a pirate type guy, right? So go figure. All right, so what do we want to do to create our encounters? Well, encounters, you're going to click on encounters, right? And, those are NPCs. Let's click on encounters. There we go. All right, so you can set up, you see we got a whole bunch. You can go into your specific adventures if you've already got them coded in. Like if I'm, say, playing part 2 of the adventure, maybe I've already got it coded in. If you don't have it coded in yet, this is how you do it, right? We're just going to go into new at this point. And we're going to create a new adventure. We're going to call this the Bandit. You want to make it something that you just don't want to call it Bandit Camp, because that could be part of anything, right? Bandit Camp could be part of any adventure anywhere, and you'd be like, is that the one I'm looking for? So Bandit, let's go like this. Black Hand Bandit, fishing camp. There we go. Boom. Up. Right now I'm actually doing a search. What you want to do is edit the list and create a brand new one. There we go. So you get this little box here, and it says new encounter, unlock. That's what we want to put in. Black Hand Bandit fishing camp. There we go. All right. The reason I keep locking and unlocking is because unless the window is locked, sometimes it's really hard to move it. All right. So you see when it's unlocked here, I can click here and kind of drag it, but if I click up here, it thinks I want to rename it. I click over here, so it's kind of hard. So for me, it's just easier to lock it and then close it out, or unlock it. There we go. All right, so what do we want to do? We want to add in some creatures, right? So we got our Bandit Captain, which we're going to add in. And then we're going to add in 1, and we're going to add in 2, and then we're going to add in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 8 bandits and the Bandit Captain. Now, again, I'm going to lock it and move this guy out of the way. So now what you want to do is you just want to put these guys into position if you want to do that. You don't necessarily have to do that ahead of time, but it can save you some time, right? And it can also help you understand what's going on with where they are on the map. And when your players come around the corner, you can say, oh, yeah, you see several of them from where you're standing if you know where they're already at, and you don't need to worry about where they are in the combat tracker and all that stuff, right? So what you want to actually do is you can see here the bandit captain has a placement option. So I can take this and I can drag it over to the map and I can drop him right where I want him. And it shows me he's actually on the map somewhere. And then I can do the same thing with bandit number 1, and bandit number 2, bandit number 3. Scroll down, bandit number 4, bandit number 5, bandit number 6, bandit number 7 is eating, and bandit number 8, what did we decide? He was going to be eating as well. There we go. So they're all eating, or, this guy might be over here fixing pot of stew or whatever. The bandit captain's over here. I don't know, maybe we can put him at the desk. Maybe he's writing something down in his journal. There we go. He's writing something down in his journal. There we go. So we got all these guys on the map, right? So we're ready to go. So what I need to do at this point is just take our little icon. Again, mine looks like a red dragon head. Yours could look like some other icon. And I can actually drag this down and just place it bloop, right here on the map. And I can close this window out. You notice all of our little goods went away, but we've got a quick link to the Black Hand Bandit Fishing Camp. So when the party is adventuring around and they come across this, we add them to the map. Of course, we would have it it would already have the mask on it, so they couldn't see where they would go. But I'm just going to add my players down here real quick, down in the bottom corner. There we go, right? And so now I'm like, oh, okay, so you've come up, you think you've up ahead, you hear some laughter, some mugs kind of slugging together and some toast going on. Quite a few voices up ahead. They're not being shy at all. As you come around the corner, you see several of them sitting at tables, surrounded and everything, blah, blah, blah. You describe the scene for your players. All you have to do here is click on this quick link, right? And it brings up your little bandit fishing camp encounter. Okay, that's why you want to click link this, because now it's right up here in your face. Now all I have to do, right, is click on the little button right there, and it says Add Encounter to Combat Tracker. And all the monsters get added, and it automatically rolls initiative for them. And you can see that it places them on the map invisibly, so the players don't actually see them at this point. So I can kind of figure out Bandit 5, Bandit 7. Okay, so you guys see Bandit 5, and I can come down here, and Bandit 7, maybe right here. So these guys are now visible, right? But the other guys are all invisible at this point for whatever reason. Maybe they're coming around the corner, maybe they can't see, maybe they only have 60 feet of vision because it's nighttime, whatever the reason, okay? So you can individually decide, or you can come up here, up to the top of the combat tracker, and you can just click it and make everyone visible. If they come around the corner and it's daylight and they can see everyone, instead of individually clicking them, you can just come up to the top, click on all of them, and then tell your players, okay, roll initiative, and then you can start your combat or whatever you want. But if you don't have these guys positioned at the time that you create the encounter, you can still do this, right? So if I just, if I take these guys, let's do the selection mode and see if I can actually, delete token, delete all tokens, all right? Well, it deletes the players, unfortunately, but that's okay. So let's say I didn't have these guys on the map ahead of time, but I still have my link, right? Let's go to the menu here. We want to kill off everyone that's not friendly. There we go. So once again, the players have arrived to this situation, but for some reason you forgot, or you didn't want to place these guys ahead of time for whatever reason. Your players are coming around the corner here. Maybe it's daylight, they can see everything. So now when I click on the Black Hand Bandit fishing camp. You notice it brings up the encounter, but none of the guys are actually here, which is it's not a problem necessarily. It's just a pain that you have to do that. So I can actually add in everyone into the combat tracker, and then they show up that way. So it's a little bit confusing there, but if you do an encounter that you don't set them on, so let's show you that real quick. So I'm going to create another encounter really quickly here. Let's just go ahead. Well, let's first thing first. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get rid of all non-friendlies. So that gets rid of that. We're going to just remove this, delete the link. Yep. All right. We're just going to set up a different encounter. We're going to call this Bandit Camp by the Sea. Fine. All right, so that's that. Let's go for NPC. Too many windows open. NPCs, please. NPCs, thank you. All right. There we go. So we're just going to take a couple bandits here. Oh, I don't like that. I want to use my bandit, so let's get rid of that. There we go. So Black Hand Bandit. There we go. So we're going to add just a couple just to show you. All right, so I've got my bandits, right? And I'm going to lock it, but I'm not going to place these guys on our map, right? I'm just going to get the encounter ready ahead of time. And I'm going to link this one in there. So notice I didn't put the tokens on the map. So when the players come in, we go to the combat tracker. I click on the little quick link here that says Bandit Camp by the Sea. I click it. I can add these guys to the encounter tracker, the combat tracker, but there's nothing that shows up on the map. So what I have to do is you got to individually drag them over one at a time and place them where you want them, and you can move them around or whatever you want to do, and then make them visible or not make them visible. So it just saves you a little bit of time, trouble, and effort if you actually place things ahead of time. You don't necessarily have to. If you forget or whatever, add the combat to the combat tracker, and then you can drag them out there individually and maneuver them and position them wherever you want. So you can still do it. It's just more work for you to have to do it that way. So it's just easier when you're setting up the encounter. Place the monsters where you want because, again, they're going to start invisible. So if you want to fine-tune their positions before the encounter or, before the combat actually starts, you can do that. You don't need to, you don't have to do all that. You can use your positioning. Just place them on the map, basically. It's a little bit easier instead of having to drag them off the combat tracker individually one at a time. It can slow things down. If you want to keep things moving along and keeping things flowing really quick, right? Again, if I was to just bring up an NPC and go, oh yeah, I forgot to add the bandit captain. Let me do that. Bandit captain. Let's see. Oh, shite. I did it again. I did not want to do that. So you actually have to click to bring them open, right? And then if you just drag them down and go, oh yeah, I forgot to add the bandit captain. All right. Remember, that doesn't do anything. All that does is put a token on the map. It doesn't quick link to anything. It doesn't help any way whatsoever. So what you have to do is you have to get those encounter, find Bandit Camp by the Sea, right? And then get your NPC and add him right in that way like this. Open him up and then add him. There you go. Oh, it's locked. Make sure it's unlocked. Bandit Camp by the Sea. There we go. We got our Bandit Captain. Then, once that's done, then you can add him to the map, and he'll be part of. You want to add him to the combat tracker first. Actually, what you want to do. Sorry, too many windows, too much going on. So where's our Bandit Camp by the Sea? There we go. We got our Bandit Captain. We can. Let's see. Bandit 123. We want to add him to the combat tracker, which he did. It automatically rolls initiative for him, ready to go. And now I can drag him down here and move him wherever I need him to go. So yeah, you can always add and subtract things off, but they have to be part of something that's actually tangible. The combat tracker, you have to bring them down from the combat tracker. You can't just add things willy-nilly off. Takes a little bit of practice getting used to, but you can see, you do it a few times, you'll be good to go. No problems, I'm sure. And once they're in the combat tracker, have your players roll their initiative. It should adjust their initiative scores, and then you can just start at the top. Dog Sidious, it's your turn. You see this is what you see. You describe the scene, blah blah blah, whatever you're gonna do. However your DM style is, and you are ready to go. If you haven't used the combat tracker, it's pretty simple and easy. Once this player does his actions, he's ready to go. You can actually go in and you can see green is friendly, red is hostile, and there's actually gray if you want to make them part of a faction, or gold, which is neutral. So you can adjust them however you want, uh, based upon, maybe they cast a spell on them that makes them friendly or whatever, blah, blah, blah. This tag here actually lets them target an enemy. You just take the little target and you drag it over, and boom, you can see who they have targeted. In this case, Bandit Captain has got Black Hand Bandit 1 targeted. You can clear that out by just hitting that. So obviously you want to probably target your player characters. So you can use that. I don't like that. None of my players like that either, but that's good that you could do that. But easier way to do it is whoever you've got uh, highlighted here, you can hold your control key down and left click on them, and you can see it'll actually target them, and it'll show you actually how far away they are and all kinds of super cool things. So that's how an easier way to target than using the actual target that comes in the combat tracker. You can see the stats of all the, if I want to see the stats of Dog Sidious or Hamtag or whoever is taking their actions, you can see their attacks. But unfortunately, you don't get to see like every single thing uh, as like as the dungeon master. The players are kind of in control of their players, but you do when you get to see all the NPCs. So if I go to down here next to menu, there's a next actor. So you go through the next actor, but when you get to an NPC or non-player character or monster or whatever, then it opens up and you get to see all their attacks, all their special abilities, everything in there. So that's super cool. You can see their size and reach by hitting this, and you can turn some of these options on or off depending on what you like. You can also see who they're targeting, if they have any conditions or anything like that. And you can also click on the link. That'll bring up the stat block and all the information. So if you're not sure, well, what's this multi-attack? The captain makes 3 melee attacks, 2 with his scimitar and 1 with his dagger. Or the captain makes 2 ranged attacks with his dagger. So now, kind of, oh, okay, now I know what he does. So quick links all the monsters there. And of course, it will quick link to our special Black Hand Bandit, not just the regular bandit, but the bandit we created, obviously. So you can find out, and there's the dagger and the club that we added in there. So, yeah. So kind of summarize again, and want to get this done here pretty quick. If you're just dragging things onto the map, you're just adding tokens but don't do anything, right? So you want to build your encounters, add your monsters to the encounter, right? And then once you do that, you can then add those monsters to the map, right? And of course, hot link your encounter there. And then you can actually do the same thing, hot link it down in your bar, which is not a bad idea. When it comes time to use this encounter, all you have to do is click on the little arrow at the bottom of your encounter window. It adds the encounter to the combat tracker. Boom, right? And then all the monsters will not be visible unless you make them visible, but they're all on your screen. You can fine tune them before you make them visible. Maybe for some reason combat's gone on a few rounds and maybe these monsters have moved before they have arrived, and now I can now say, okay, green slime 1 and 2 and 3 are available. There we go. And you can use this little token on the side to adjust whose turn it is. So if Horntag is, he's not ready, or maybe you had to step away for a minute and you want to just bypass him, you can just, click on, just drag this down to the next guy and then go back to, a player when they come back, whatever you want to do as DM. But this kind of tells you who the current player is, and that is important because you will see whatever player it is, whatever turn they are, you'll see a white ring around them. So if a player sees a white ring around them, they should know it's their turn. What I like to do as DM is just tell them, okay, Harntag, it's your turn. And Quilisim, get ready, because, his turn's coming up. Might not be next, but it's coming up, so get ready. So Harntag takes his turn. I go to the next actor. The bandit captain. Looks like he's, ready to act before you Quilisim, or whatever I want to explain to him. So Quilisim now knows, I'm going to be next. Bandit takes his turn. I go to the next guy. So it's pretty intuitive. You can, remove creatures from the track, delete item, delete, boom, green slime number 3 is gone, his icon's gone, everything disappears off the screen. So, it's dead, it's gone, whatever you want to do. Maybe it left some goos on the ground or whatever. You could always make sure your map's unlocked. Click on the pencil, and then you can say, there's green goo all over this 5-foot hex here. If you enter into that, it's going to be difficult terrain or whatever you want to explain to your players about that. So yeah, you can mask it, you can draw on it, you can erase, right? Just draw, a circle or whatever, and it erases any kind of writing inside there. You can adjust the grid. You can multiple select. You can do your targeting mode up there. You can turn the targeting mode or clear the targets. You can target just friendly units, and you can target enemy units. You can also turn that off. What's the other thing you can do? You can actually go in and use pointers. This is a good one as well. Super good. So like if they're like, you tell them one of the bandits seems like he's putting something away, tucking it down into his, into his pants. And they're like, which bandit are you talking about? Bandit 2? I don't see him or whatever. You can click on, right click anywhere on the map, go to pointers, and then you can use either arrows, squares, circles, or cones. So let's say I'm drawing an arrow, I can just say it's this guy right there. And the players will see the arrows. Remove it, right click, and you can resize it. You would have to go back into pointers and then remove this is the option, right? You can also, again, go into pointers and do a circle. So maybe from there, it's a 10-foot circle. They're casting a spell or something. And what creatures am I going to get from that? You can actually place this on the map as well, which is super good. Again, pointers and then remove. You can do a square. Pointers and scroll square. So let's say they're targeting this spot right here, and they want to see, they got a 20-foot radius, whatever they want to see, and you can place that and actually just leave it on the map like that. So you can say flames are in that area. I don't think you can color code it though, if I'm not mistaken. Remove pointers, draw arrows. Yeah, I think it's all. And of course you got a cone, so maybe 15-foot wide cone. I think players have access to this as well, if I'm not mistaken. So they can figure out what their spells can do based on their area of effect and radius and such. So that's pretty much what the map, and how to manipulate your encounters. Create your encounters. I would recommend you place things ahead of time. Then when you're using that encounter, you can use the quick link, right? and then click the arrow, adds them to the combat tracker. It should pop them up on the map where you've already placed them. You can fine tune them before you make them visible, and you're good to go. Option number 2 is create your encounter. Quick link it. When you quick link it, if you had not placed the monsters on the map, when you add them to the combat tracker, you're going to have to individually drag them down and add them one at a time, and you're going to actually use their icon over here in the corner. So there's one, and there's one. Okay, uh, so you'd have to do that individually if you had not set them up on the map for the encounter. So the advantages of that is you can create lots and lots of different encounters really quickly, and you don't have to worry about putting them on a map because maybe you're just getting some random encounters set up. Maybe you have a random encounter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this dungeon, and 6, right? 6 random encounters. You've already got them set up, but you don't want them placed on the map because they're random encounters, right? So the players are traveling around, or maybe they go to camp, and you roll the dice, and you determine as a DM that they have a random encounter. You decide which one you're going to place, and you add those to the combat tracker, and then individually drag them down and put them on the map, and then boom, you've got a random encounter ready to go. So you don't have to necessarily place them on the map, but if you know for sure this is the bandit camp, this is where the bandits are going to go, and this is where the encounter is going to happen, then I don't see any reason why not to do that. But it's up to you as the DM. You can decide one way or the other. So hopefully this has helped. We're going to now start kind of some fun stuff. We're actually going to try and create maybe a little adventure where we use all the stuff we looked at and some of the stuff we haven't actually looked at, which is actually when you're talking about manipulating little text boxes and creating, okay, is this paragraph? Do I want to read that out to the players? So I can actually put it inside a chat frame, which everyone knows as a DM now. You read that section off. So there's a whole bunch of different options. You can assign a speaker. You can make a certain character say this, right? So if I assign a speaker, can I just let's see, can I add? Right. I want to, no, I can't actually. Okay. So, I mean, we'll look at different options for that. But yeah, I think you can like assign a certain character or a certain NPC or a certain monster to say something. And you can just quick link it and it'll show up in the chat box, which we can see down here. A powerful force of orcs is reinforced by evil mercenary wizards attack Wave Echo Cave to seize its riches and magical treasures. So, I mean, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to look at setting that up, setting up quick links to maps, creating encounters, doing all the super cool, fun stuff. So if you have any thoughts, questions, suggestions, if you're not sure about anything, let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll try and cover it when we do the practice encounter. Maybe I'll call it like a practice encounter, or I'm sorry, practice adventure that we're going to set up with mostly custom stuff. We're going to take the core stuff that's already created, create a whole bunch of new things for our fantasy setting. Maybe your fantasy setting slightly different than the core rules, or you want just some monsters that your players don't know the stats on because maybe they're expert D&D players and they know that a goblin has 11 hit points and a 12 armor class or whatever it is, because I don't even know. But maybe your players do and you want to change them to throw them off, so, or whatever the reason. So we're going to use a lot of custom maps, monsters, and basically just do what we've been doing here with our bandit camp and creating different maps, and just whatever comes. That's it. I can't tell you exactly what we're doing because when I start doing things, I might get an idea and try and switch things out, and I don't want you just expecting certain things. But we're going to try and create some kind of adventure for probably just a low-level adventure group, and then, we'll see how it goes. So thanks, everyone, for watching. Sorry it went a little long. We'll see you guys next time. Appreciate you. stopping in and watching this tutorial series. Hopefully you found some things interesting. Hopefully you found it entertaining and something that is going to help you down the line in creating your own fantasy adventures for your group. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.